And the witnesses for being here today, including, I think, one from North Carolina. So glad to have you all here. So back in November, so not too long ago, the Wall Street Journal reported on a phenomenon where pharmacy benefit managers, PBMs, they favored drugs with higher list prices. I think Senator Marshall mentioned this phenomenon. For example, one particular brand of insulin sells at $274 per vial, while an unbranded counterpart sells at only $25 per vial. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal, half as many Americans have insurance coverage for the less expensive product as for the higher priced brand, which accounts for about 61% of the prescriptions. Now, this is important because the PBMs that are in there, they preferred coverage for the higher priced medications because they're reimbursed on percentage of the list price. So the proposal that Senator Marshall discussed on delinking PBM reimbursement from the list price, I think that would go a long way in realigning incentives to best serve the interest of patients. Now, a paper published by the American Enterprise Institute, it makes clear that the list price, and I believe the chair mentioned list prices when he was referring to some anti-obesity drugs that were $12,000 or so, but I don't think the list price is really the best way to look at that, and that's not the best indicator of their true cost. Specifically, the study reveals that the rebates that manufacturers pay to those PBMs on anti-obesity medication can be as high as 80% of the list price. So I ask unanimous consent to submit the paper for the record. Thank you, Chairman.
Objection.
Thank you. So the question, Dr. Kowalski, again, thank you for being here. And again, I appreciate your presence in my state of North Carolina. You're making an impact there. And a lot of friends affected by this in similar situation to you. And Natalie, thank you for sharing the story of your daughter, Nadia. So the insulin of 100 years ago, they're not the same insulins that patients are utilizing today, as I understand. There have been countless innovations with insulins, auto-injectors, longer-lasting insulin, some of the references you mentioned. So Dr. Kowalski, could you speak to how public-private partnerships have contributed to some of these advancements?
No, this has been an incredibly important field. When my brother was diagnosed in 1977 and I was diagnosed in 1984, we used cow and pig insulin. It was really, really difficult to manage, incredibly unpredictable. We've seen advancement over advancements in insulin, making insulins easier to use, more effective, and driving better outcomes. Today's insulins are not good enough, and I think this is the balance between innovation and access. JDRF believes we need to continue to innovate in better and better insulins. For example, we've funded what are called glucose-responsive insulins that would only work when your body needs them. These would be transformative. That said, an insulin that's generic and off the patent for many years needs to be accessible. No one with type 1 diabetes should go without insulin. You die. If you took away my insulin pump, I would die within a week. So this rationing of an insulin is an unacceptable outcome in the United States of America. So this is a balance that we need to strike, but the advancements that continue are critically important. We know the average person with diabetes right now in the United States is not achieving their goals. We need to do better.
Appreciate you all being here. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Senator.